Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is a part 2 to spiritual hygiene, spiritual fitness. Okay, there's a few things that I left out in the last video that should have been mentioned. Okay, basically, the other things that needed to be mentioned, something that we need to do on a continuous basis, is some form of movement. Yoga, stretching, walking, swimming, running, whatever it is, dancing. You need to move, okay? Movement helps with stuck energy, helps with stress, okay? It helps keep the life force energy flowing, moving, get the blood moving, keeps it repels that stagnant energy, that comes upon us. So movement is going to be very, very crucial for the chosen, okay? Every day, again, we have to make time for everything in our lives, okay? So movement is one, okay? Also, let me add this, and this is one that I didn't think about, but it's a form of movement, it moves energy around. Breathing, just doing some breathing techniques is actually a form of exercise, okay? Does a lot of great things for the body, okay? So if, say, perhaps you weren't able to go out for that walk or that swim, just sit at home, indoors or outdoor, preferably outdoors, and just okay? And if you want to get a little fancy, then you learn some really cool breath techniques, okay? But I found great success just doing regular breathing in and breathing out, okay? I did a whole detox on my body. I released so many toxins one time where I did probably like a week of a 5-minute just regular breathing like that. And it changed my body. Okay, so that's the power in breathing. It's a form of exercise as well. Okay, breathing, movement. Okay, and this food thing. We're gonna stay on this food thing. Okay, I know I talk a lot about food on the channel. Okay, I know it gets hectic out time. We fall back asleep. We forget, but it is important for us to tap in, okay, to natural, organic fruits, herbs, roots, plants, flowers, okay? We need to be consuming these things, okay? As much as we, eat processed foods or things that are not raw, not natural, not processed, we should have a balance, if anything. If you're not going strictly whole food, then you need to have a balance, okay? I remember watching a video that was very, very enlightening. It was said, it's not what you eat that kills you, it's what you don't eat that kills you. So, and that resonated with me. That made a lot of sense, Obviously, I still would rather us be all whole organic, I think that's ideal. But until a lot of us get to where we need to be, or you just say, hey, I want to enjoy some of this life, I'm going to eat some of this fake stuff, you know what I mean? Then the best thing to do is just keep a balance. Okay, remember that our food is information, okay? This is information coming straight from nature, right? Nature holds the essence of the minds, the ancestral land spirits, the gods of the land. They are imbued inside of nature, okay? So that's why it's important for us to eat these things. So I just did a video about Oshun, right? So say her symbolism and the things that we feed her would be orange, honey, sunflowers, right? So if these are things that make her manifest in and around you, then that means now if you take this in, her essence is in here, okay? So you can actually embody that energy by eating these foods, because this is her presence in nature. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. You know how in the Bible it talks about, I believe, either Jesus or they just say God. God is present in olive oil. Okay, that's why they would do spiritual cleansings with olive oil. Okay, because his presence, a God from that area in the world, I forget if it was Jesus who was supposed to be present in the olive oil, or whether it was Yahweh or some God is supposed to be present in the olive oil. But I say this to say now that I do know that spirits are alive in these these foods and these vegetables and these plants. Like, I got that full revelation. Okay, so when you put an olive oil on you, you are actually putting the power and the essence of the God that resides in that. There are gods that reside in nature. Okay, that's why in the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant, right? It's made out of one main ingredient that I remember was the acacia wood or something like that, and then gold. These are things found in nature where his presence is. So when they put all of this stuff together, they are essentially bringing Yahweh forward in this. That was his resting place inside of that Ark of the Covenant. And these were all from materials taken from nature. So the gods reside in these natural things, okay? Then there's this myth, or rather a story about the goddess Lakshmi. The goddess Lakshmi is present in the plant, the Tulsi plant. Okay, you can find the Tulsi tea, right? There's a story about how Lakshmi got cursed. Somehow she got cursed, and she was turned into the Tulsi plant. So in one of her incarnations, she's the plant. So this again is these stories telling us about the gods that reside in nature. So now when you drink the Tulsi tea, you now are invoking the goddess Lakshmi, right? So now you begin to take on her characteristics, right? Because you're drinking her. So you're becoming her. When I eat this orange, I'm becoming Oshun. This is the sun, right? She's the sun. She's wealth. She's purity. I'm taking in all of her essence through these things. So that is the reason why part of our spiritual fitness should be minding what we're putting in our bodies, okay? Remember, in this spiritual life, we must be fortified at all times. That's why Whole Foods is the best food. But I know, again, sometimes you might want to live a little bit, or you fall back to sleep, and, it happens, okay? So food is information. Food is where the gods reside, okay? And I had talked about the spiritual baths in the first video that I did on spiritual hygienes, and I didn't mention that aspect of the spiritual bath. I just talked about it being condensed sun, and when we put it on us, that's how it revitalizes us and cleanses us and stuff like that. Okay, but also these spiritual baths, now all these ingredients that we're putting into these baths, they are the gods. These are the essences of the gods. They have attributes, okay? All of these different plants, they're somebody. All plants and animals have a life force. They have an essence, okay? And some of those essences have names that are the names that we call gods. They live in them. So that's the importance of those spiritual baths, because what you're doing now is you're grafting yourself with that God, and you're becoming that God, okay? So for instance, people who are into who are into the Egyptian gods, right? A lot of them are taking the gold. Okay, the Egyptians, they were big on the gold. They were big on jade. Okay, these are some of the elements that those ancestral spirits residing. So if you have jade around you, then that means you're going to have the power of Isis around you, or the power of all of the pantheon around you. When you have gold, when you wear gold, when you take gold in, you essentially are inviting them in, because they live in these elements. This is who they are, and you're grafting it into you. So then now the things that you heard, that the powers that you heard they have, you now begin to have those things. You become magical. You become telepathic. You become a healer. You become this, you become that, because of the things that you take from nature and consume, okay? So consume, or rather wash with, because we're talking about the spiritual baths. That was another important reason for the spiritual baths, was the grafting on of the energies, letting the energies attach themselves to you. And that, like I said, increases your auric field and your protection, okay? So food, movement, and there was one more thing. Food, movement, and that was it. I wanted to mention about the spiritual bath. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So that will conclude my video on spiritual fitness and hygiene. Take this stuff seriously, guys. This is a reminder, a daily reminder to do something on this list. Something on this list. Okay? I know sometimes it's hard to do everything every day, but at least do something good for your body, your aura, your soul every day. If you just pick one thing off this list, if it's just drinking tea, let it be that. Okay? So with that being said, peace.